Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is Jamie, and this is the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Jamie, how the heck are you doing, my friend?
I never get to say, my name is Jamie. How are ya? My name is Jamie. Welcome to the podcast.
Do you want to do the opening next week?
I just did it. Sure, let's do that. I'll do the opening.
That would really throw people off.
Then you can't say, hey, my name is Brad.
I'm going to. Hey, my name is Brad. And this is still Race Car Spelled Backwards.
It still is backwards. It's still the same.
How you doing, man? Good? You feel better?
I got injured yesterday.
Jamie fell in the hole. Fell in the hole.
Yeah.
Or a-hole.
A-hole? Yeah, let's call it the A-hole.
Jamie tripped and fell in an A-hole.
Just, it was the...
We're 1 minute in.
I was at the Pride Parade and fell into a hole.
He fell into a hole while out looking for a cow.
Let's not go any further, or my home at life will be domestically screwed.
So, but you pulled a muscle, right?
Muscle is pulled.
But you're good now.
Didn't do it with my hands. That'd be a totally different subject for a mature audience.
Oh, man. I don't know how far off the rails we could go, but we are out there. So, other than the pull muscle in your leg, you good?
Have you ever, if they polled registered voters,
4% believe in lizard people.
How many would say they pull muscles with their left or right hands?
Or are they in your left or right hand,
yeah.
or with your left and right?
With your left or right hand.
So you gotta. How are we wording that? Do you pull your muscle with your left or right hand, or have you pulled a muscle in your left or right hand? So
usually I'm so vigorous at it, I can't remember what hand I'm using.
Well, how do you know?
I don't want to get caught, so I pull it very quickly.
like starting to weed eater. Faster. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. Did you watch the race?
Breaking news. Ware Racing beats women. Allegedly.
Allegedly, both brothers, really?
Yeah. 2 years ago, what was his name? Benson Ware?
No. What was his name?
Bryce Ware?
Carson
Ware.
Yeah, Carson hosts of our way.
I wonder how that case turned out. It might not be alleged anymore.
Carson, not Carson.
Carson Ware.
Carson Ware.
He was charged with beating
a woman.
His crew chief's wife.
There's his crew chief's wife?
He lived with him instead of with Daddy. Isn't that weird?
Maybe he already hit his mom.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We were making all of this up. Well, actually, we're not making any of this
up. But then Cody goes and smacks a woman.
Yes, so NASCAR has
allegedly
NASCAR has indefinitely suspended Cody Shane Ware.
Is that for infinity or just indefinitely?
No, it's indefinitely and beyond.
Not affinity?
Not affinity and beyond.
Okay.
So they've just, NASCAR has suspended him. He could come back for behavioral issues, right?
Yeah, but they said he didn't race yesterday because of personal issues. Because smacking a woman a personal issue? I guess
probably getting his affairs in order because he turned himself in. Or, well, I don't know. He went to jail today. So Cody was arrested today on charges of assault on a female and assault by strangulation, inflict serious injury. Assault by strangulation dash.
I have never choked my wife unless she's asked me. Really, I've never choked my wife, so if she listens, I don't want to go to hell. Hell on earth.
You're going to end up moving into the camper at my house.
Not with your burps. It smells like vile and vomit.
It's the protein, man.
Bile and vomit. It's vile, but it's bile and vomit.
Yeah, I didn't even think about all that protein, man. It gives you bad farts, but I didn't think about giving you bad burps, but I guess it makes sense.
So was that a level 1 penalty the Wares got?
What do you mean?
L1 penalty?
No.
What do the police?
Well, if you're suspended indefinitely, that's like an L3, right?
Well, I haven't seen his brother come back to Xfinity, so
Well, indefinitely is not forever. It's just most of the time.
it's until you seek counseling, I think.
We have to take that road to recovery. I won't slap a woman no more.
Is that different? Is the road to recovery different for spousal abuse or girlfriend abuse? Or was he living with his crew chief and smacked his wife?
I don't know if he's even...
Allegedly.
We don't even know. We met him.
Yeah, but
I don't remember him having a ring on.
Was he wearing his driving gloves so we really couldn't tell if he had a ring?
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I don't look at hands.
We're just trying to hope he didn't hit us. That was that year he hit everything on the track. I figured he would have hit us. So, but yeah, that's... As we record this show, all we know is he was arrested today on charges of assault
on a female
by strangulation.
I don't believe you should hit your spouse, girlfriend, or just a random woman on the road. I think it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't think, as a man, you should never hit a woman.
You shouldn't.
Man, I mean, I saw, even if you're not a man anymore, you still shouldn't hit a woman.
No, you shouldn't. Not even in self-defense. You should run. That's what my dad told me.
So my dad told me. Take off.
Don't hit or run.
Yeah.
Don't be there.
Unless she pulls a gun.
Gun's a whole different situation.
Yeah, then you've changed the whole narrative.
Then I run, but I run to my gun.
Yeah, I think you can shoot back.
Is that gun violence?
It could be gun violence.
Self-defense is self-defense gun violence.
Only if the user of the gun is violent.
Well, it's violent using a gun. We went down this path last week.
That's because Timothy complained, and we called him out on the show.
What was his name? Softwood?
I think Smallwood.
Timothy Smallwood.
Yeah, something would.
Don't you think you'd change your name?
If it was Smallwood?
Yeah.
Oh, that would...
Or at least prove that the name doesn't equate to...
If your last name was Smallwood, you would pretty much...
Whoa.
You just have to walk around with no pants on.
So our last names were developed in the Middle Ages. What do you think got Smallwood?
Huh. What do you think the Smallwoods did?
Was it a little tree? That's a little... That's a sapling.
Looks like a Smallwood.
Yeah, that's a Smallwood.
So, Jamie, what do you think about the teammate issues at NASCAR? So I looked this up. I was reading the thing this morning about the Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch. They got into each other, and somebody had made the comment that Austin should have driven his teammate a little cleaner. So I looked up the definition of teammate is a fellow member of a team. But in NASCAR, what does that exactly mean?
To me, it means let's assume the race is on Sunday. On Monday through Saturday, you share information and you help each other out. It does not mean on Sunday in the middle of a race that you share information and help each other out. In my opinion.
See, I think a teammate would be your tire changer.
Right. That's your team.
Your crew chief.
Right.
That's your teammate.
Your gas guy. Gas man. Gas person.
Just because your organization has 4 race teams doesn't mean the other race teams are part of your team.
Well, if that was, and the reason we don't want that in NASCAR, look at F1. You got teammates. Their whole job is to make sure you're champion.
Exactly.
I've seen where they've called off the team member who was leading. Hey, no, that's for Hamilton. You can't win. That's Hamilton.
Yeah.
Back off.
That's what I'm saying. So in NASCAR,
it cheats the system.
You got Truex, Hamlin, Bell, and Gibbs.
I think you're friendlier with your teammate.
But I think between green flag and checkered flag, you don't race your organization any different than you do the Hendricks organizations, the colleagues, the Penske's. You are there to win the race for your team.
Right.
Which is your team. The guys jumping over the wall, the guys who put your car together at the shop, the guys on your pit box. That's your team.
I mean, let's say, and it's not allowed, but let's say in football, the Atlanta Falcons are owned by the same guy that owns the Los Angeles Rams. Falcons suck. But if the Falcons have a good year, is the owner going to call, hey, no, the Rams go to the Super Bowl? No, that's not allowed. No, you don't. You think Rick Hendrick cares which team wins the cup? I don't think so.
No, as long as one of them
One
wins.
of them, yeah.
I don't think it matters to Rick who it is. All that matters to Rick is that one of his teams win. But I mean, just like with our job, we're on a team, but we all have individual goals.
And we're paid based on our quota. My quota pays me. Your quota pays you.
Correct. You're not making anything off my quota, and I
Nope.
don't make anything off your quota. So,
but if you call and say, hey, do you have this form? Or I call, how do you do this?
That's where
we help each other out.
Yeah, we're not just throwing crappy accounts at each other saying, here, take this. Let me screw you over. You're my teammate.
Well, yeah, we do that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my crappy account that I didn't make any money on. It's all yours, Brad. Actually, I don't tell you I'm giving it to you.
It's a surprise.
I throw it to the house, and then the manager says, "Oh, this guy over here didn't do anything with it. I'm giving it to you. I think there's something there for you."
Well, that's different.
That is different.
That there's your manager believing in you.
Well, that's true. And the other thing is, in our job, there's personality conflicts. It could mean that you're a great territory manager, but you have a personality issue with one of your customers. And they would be better served if someone else with a different personality.
And that happens. I think that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
And not just in our job, but in other. I mean, you see it. Taking this back to NASCAR, you see it in NASCAR when you'll see crew chief swaps or spotter swaps within one team or one organization.
Well, you'll see it like when you hit the playoffs and another team might have a better
tire changer.
Yeah, and all right, we made the playoffs. You didn't. We're taking that tire changer.
Yeah, then they take all, like Gibbs,
the best, an all-star.
They get all their best and put them together and make an all-star team. So, no, I was just curious as what your thought was. I figured we were probably pretty much on the same page with it, but
now if I'm a driver and I've spun out and I'm 2 laps down running 35th, I might accidentally pull out in front of the guy behind you if you're leading. Or slow down the leader so you can catch up if you're in second place.
So basically what Chase Elliott did for Kyle Larson with Kevin Harvick at Bristol last year.
Right, but not what he did at Fontana where he wrecked him.
Yeah, but what he did. So I don't like what he did at Bristol. I know he says he didn't do that, but he did do that.
Well, Denny Hamlin has proven
that's manipulating a race.
But Denny Hamlin's proven you cannot admit to things people do every race.
Well, that's why Chase Elliott probably didn't get a penalty for it, is because he didn't admit to doing it. He just did it.
Right.
Kind of like.
Or when his teammate pulled up in front of him and wrecked him and won the race later at Fontana.
Correct. So, let's just talk about Denny Hamlin. So, Denny Hamlin goes on his appeals, has his appeals process last week. According to Denny, he thought it was going very well because he had an emergency podcast the day after.
I didn't listen to the emergency podcast. I listened to the Monday, and he was saying, yeah, I'm like a lawyer. I got all my evidence.
The emergency podcast was really good. He truly thought he was going to win it. He said when they went to deliberate, he's like, he had that feeling that it was done deal. And they come back and we're going to uphold the penalty.
It's kind of like us getting a new customer.
He said he was shocked for like 15 minutes. He didn't know what to say. But Denny says in our sport, we have a star problem. There's no superstars. And not that he's trying to be a superstar, but that we have a star problem.
I think he's a superstar.
Well, I think he's meaning like Lewis Hamilton.
Him, Bush. I mean, basically, if you won a championship the last 5 years, you're a superstar. Don't you think?
No.
No?
Superstar.
Like Truex lost his shine because it was too long ago.
He's a star. They're stars. Superstars of our sport are people who are easily recognizable across, culture divided lines, or not culture divided, but
let's just say racing community. How about that?
No, I mean just across people. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Beyond him, what current driver do you think someone that's not a race fan would even know their name?
That's what I'm saying. I think Dale Jr.,
his father,
Jeff Gordon,
Jimmy Johnson,
Tony Stewart,
Richard Childress. Who else?
Wouldn't you think Tony Stewart would be one of those drivers where you would know his name across?
Well, I was a gigantic
Non-sports
fan of
fan?
his when he was driving,
Well,
so I would say
non-sports
yes.
fans.
Yeah. Darrell Waltrip. People.
Kyle Busch, I want to say that I think people outside of the NASCAR world would know the name Kyle Busch.
Think they'd recognize him though?
You know, I don't think they'd recognize a lot of these guys because Fox has those stupid cartoon characters, but...
Well, like Blaney, Ryan Blaney.
No.
His cartoon thing is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, but it's not going to change. People aren't going to recognize him anyway.
No. And he's not a superstar either.
Well,
who do you think is currently driving, would you say, is known outside of NASCAR fans? Currently.
Currently, Kevin Harvick.
You think?
Probably not. Now that you say it.
Chase Elliott, because I see his face at Napa Auto Parts. So if you work on a car, you might recognize
I still
him.
think Kyle Busch is the only one. Maybe Denny Hamlin. Just because they've been around so long.
Well, look at the brands he's with. He's partnered with Michael Jordan.
That's what I'm saying.
And he drives for FedEx. So, yeah, I would agree with you on Hamlin.
I mean, Kyle Busch. But I think those are probably your two biggest stars in our sport right now.
Who do you think is the biggest living legend that's a star? I would go with Dale Jr. and Richard Petty.
See, I would say Dale Jr. and...
bigger than Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon.
See, I don't know. I think Jeff Gordon gives them a run for their money.
I think in racing circles, Tony's well known. All racing. I mean, just across the board. I mean, look what he drove midgets.
He's doing the 4-wide next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be cool.
Drove dragsters. Won 2 championships in NASCAR. Owns a NASCAR team. Co-owns it. I mean, in racing circles, it would be all that we've mentioned in Tony. But other than that...
Well, so the reason Denny said this is William Byron came out and said that he will not be going on a podcast anytime soon.
What has he got against podcast?
Well, look what happened to Denny.
So say it was an accident.
No, basically, NASCAR has set a precedent now where if the driver lies and says he didn't do it intentionally, he's okay. They won't do nothing to him. But if he admits to doing it, which to create a star in the sport, Dale Earnhardt got out and said, I didn't mean to wreck him. I meant to rattle his cage. You said that. That could be the equivalent of what Denny Hamlin said on his podcast, just in modern terms. So, Denny gets fined for it. These young kids coming up, one, they can't afford a fine like Denny Hamlin can. Denny Hamlin makes probably 10 times what Ross Chastain's getting paid.
Now, there's a guy that I think will be a star in the future, Ross Chastain.
Not without a personality, he won't. He could win 1,000 races, but if he continues to be a stick in the mud who doesn't have an opinion...
But NASCAR's stifling.
That's what Denny's saying.
And he's right. Don't you think?
Yes, I think Denny's 100% right.
Harvick has a personality at least, but, I think it's not just NASCAR killing personalities. An outspoken driver that gets interviewed after every race that we see on television is going to become a star. How many you barely see Harvick interviewed anymore because they got to cut to the next sport that they're showing.
I was talking to my dad earlier, and he didn't even know Harvick was in the race yesterday. Never showed him.
I think that's up to the pre-race and the post-race interviews, and Fox still does a horrible job.
He's not a dirt. Oh, I have a section on Fox today.
But I think the last 2 races they've covered pretty well.
We've pounded Fox into the ground since episode 1 and episode 57. Today, we're going to continue doing it. So, other news, Colleague, their appeals, they're going to move to the final appeal now because they went through the appeals process on their one louver.
They went to that kangaroo court called the appeal process.
Yeah. And they failed. They were given 25 of the 100 points back. So they still lost 75. So now they're going to take it
for one louver.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be half? Since they only were half cheating?
Who would cheat with one louver? Colleague is saying something. They're saying they never touched the dang part, and that's how it came to them.
I believe them.
I do too. Because if you were going to touch it, why wouldn't you do it to both?
Right. Let's get an advantage.
So they're going to one more round. So we talked last week. Hendricks got their points back. NASCAR was not happy about that, obviously. So they took the 48 and the 24 to R&D Center after the Richmond race.
That's called revenge.
Yeah. The revenge and disruption.
The revenge inspection.
The R&D. Revenge and disruption.
Well, I've got a solution to all this. Remember when the Frances were dictators?
Yeah, they ran the
What they said happened.
Fist.
What they said happened. You're suspended.
Yeah.
You're paying a $100,000 fine.
No appeals.
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
I mean,
I rag on them all the time for owning it.
I think Dale Jr. even said that he thinks the sport is better when it's ran with an iron fist and not a communal discussion.
I mean, your democracy's at home when you vote for your new county commissioner. It's not in racing.
Well, NASCAR took 2 of their cars back to the R&D Center for retaliation and destruction and got them with a level 1 penalty for modifying something in the greenhouse area, which according to Jamie is the window.
Yep.
But they got a penalty for...
No, I Googled it. It's according to Google.
Oh, okay.
You can't dispute Google.
Well, the race car, it says violations of the NASCAR road book for overall assembled vehicle rules and engineering change log violations. Docked them 60 points, 5 playoff points, $75,000 fine to the crew chiefs, and the interim crew chiefs will be suspended for 2 weeks.
So we're going to have interim next week?
No, the interim crew chief suspension doesn't start till the other ones come back.
Oh, that's nice.
Cliff Daniels has admitted openly to being at Richmond. He just couldn't make a fuss.
He can't be on the pit box, though. Isn't that the rule?
He was probably in the dang pit box.
Inside of it.
That's what I'm saying.
In a drawer. They open the drawer. Hey, what do you think we ought to do?
What do you think, Cliff?
4 tires.
Shut it back in.
4 tires.
He's probably in the hauler. Sitting there.
He might be in the trunk of the car.
Rick Hendricks has come out and said they will not appeal this new penalty. And that's the smartest thing. If they would have appealed this, every week NASCAR was going to take 2 cars to the R&D Center for Hendrick Motorsports for the rest of the year. In NASCAR, when they took those 2 cars at Richmond, they were going to penalize them a level 1 penalty when they left Richmond. They told their guys, you take this car apart, you find me something.
Maybe Ben Kennedy said, look, guys, don't appeal this.
And we'll move on.
Yeah.
I bet you there was... They got a call from a France.
Yeah. So, maybe that France should step up and be the dictator of NASCAR.
Say, hey, you're going to shut up. You will not appeal this.
You listen to me.
And we will move on. If you appeal, we'll take your cars and tear them down every week.
I'm going to send my consigliere ice pick to take care of you. Do you want me to take care of you? Or do you want to race?
So I did want to give a congratulations to Ryan Blaney.
Why? Because he
got his first win Saturday night at the Bristol dirt track as a spotter.
Well, that's good career move for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the last win he'll get this season.
Joey dominated that race. Good night almighty.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Joey had that race covered up like the toupee he wears on top of his head.
Yeah, that is definitely a toupee, too. It's getting bushier and bushier. Have you noticed that?
I know, man. There's no way it's real.
It doesn't even look like the same color it used to be.
No, it don't even look like 17-year-old Joey.
Yeah.
It looks goofy. Finally, on a 3rd time racing on dirt,
it did look like he had multiple orgasms as he put his fingers through his hair after he took his helmet off Saturday night, though.
Did it?
Yeah.
I wasn't watching. When I saw Joey win, I basically turned it off. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to him go.
Drop one of your burps and run the family out of the living room.
So a dirt racer finally won the Bristol race. We've raced 3 times. Christopher Bell finally brings home a win for the dirt community on Sunday night. Chris drove a good race. He led I think he led 100 laps.
He looks 12, and then I saw his wife for the first time ever.
She looks 13.
Yes, what's the deal? Why are they getting married so young?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's as young as you think.
Christopher Bell still has his own hair, I think. Not hair club
he didn't pay for it?
I don't think it's hair club glue.
Stage 1 was a caution fest. I thought during stage 1 this race was going to last till at least 2 in the morning.
Do you think the guys with the caution button were drinking some of that mountain moonshine? Some Mountain Dew?
Well, they were drinking 5-hour energy drinks every 5 minutes.
They would throw it when they didn't need it, and then you'd have cars just doing 360s and nothing would happen.
NASCAR obviously changed their view of a caution during stage 1. Stage 1 took forever. We had tons of cautions in stage 1.
Well, not when you record it.
Finally, they just stopped throwing cautions. They would not throw the caution. This is what I noticed. I read everybody's complaints on Twitter. But
they looked at the clock and said, man, even with a jet, we ain't going to get home at any time soon.
No.
This crap.
When the car spun out and was facing the right direction and then took off, NASCAR didn't throw it. When the car spun out and stopped facing the wrong direction, NASCAR threw the caution. Because you can't have cars coming head on at another car and not throw a caution. Most of the times those guys would spin out and take off and get going. We didn't need a caution for that. The only reason fans are pissed that they didn't get a caution when Ryan Blaney spun out is because they're Ryan Blaney fans. Ryan Blaney spun out.
Does he have any of those left?
Yeah, and that's the one. All 17 of them are mad. So get over it.
Were those all 17 in the stands? Because that was all that was there.
No, there was 37 there. I counted all of them.
Okay.
I actually could name most of them.
They kept showing the helicopter view, and I'm like, there's no one there.
They showed a view, an aerial photo of the campground. We used to go to Bristol's my favorite track. I've been to Bristol probably as much as I've been to Atlanta. We used to go every year. We camped in the All-American campground on the backside, and to get a camp spot down towards the front, you just about had to wait on somebody to die. They were willing. You could put your camping spot in your will. That's how hard it was to get a camping spot at Bristol.
That was before they ran it on Easter.
Dude, it was... You could have been on the front row by the creek, which was as close as you could get. You could have been on that front row this weekend. Granted, it was Easter, and I think that played a huge, huge part into it. What's going to be telling is the TV numbers. I haven't seen them. I don't know what viewership was. But
I can tell you, I've been critical of Easter race. I have been, but it gave me something to watch last night. And Sunday night is bad television. I mean, it just is.
I mean, so Jordan Bianchi explained it. The NFL has owned Sundays. The NFL owns Thanksgiving, right? The NBA has games on Christmas Day.
They own Christmas. That's the only game I watch a year. New Year's is owned by hockey because they do the outdoor arena at a baseball or football stadium.
And you got college football also around that time.
Yeah. So,
So why not NASCAR on Easter? Now,
I'm okay with the stands being empty because I'm watching it on television.
If the majority of the tracks...
I don't like dirt, though.
If the majority of the money the tracks make comes off of the TV deal, then they don't care if there's butts in the seats either. But I think Bristol has too many seats for one. There was only 70 or 80,000 people at the Super Bowl this year. I think Bristol has enough seats for 150,000 people. It's a little much.
Well, I went as a kid. I believe turns 3 and 4 was open. Remember that?
Yeah.
You could actually see the drag race.
I mean,
not the race.
I've never been without the Coliseum all the way around.
Oh, really?
But they've added layers.
Yeah, now it's tiered like it is at a football stadium.
Yeah, it used to be 2-tier and 1-tier at the most. There was some 1-tier section still when I started going.
They can pull a tarp with a sponsor on it over some. I mean, they don't have to tear it down. I think one day
Atlanta Motor Speedway just tore whole sections down, so why not tear them down?
Well, they also before they reversed it the way it sits now, Do you remember there were backside stands?
That's what I'm saying. They tore
There's no backside
Weaver.
Yeah, there's no backstretch.
The Weaver stands are gone at Atlanta. The East Turn stands are gone at Atlanta. And I think they took some of Turn 1 back.
I think so. Because the stands are now only from the condos to...
Before Turn 1.
I'm getting distracted. There's some weird bug.
That's one of those...
Looks like a Japanese beetle.
Stink bugs, I think that's what they call them.
Oh.
Came out of my burp.
Came to thought there was a hot little stink bug in here from your burp. It
smelled me burp and it came running. I'm here. So Joey Logano, first car out last night. Multiple issues at the start of the race. I had him in my fantasy lineup. So did you. Pole sitter and dirt ringer Kyle Larson. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. So Kyle Larson had a pretty good night. Let's see how many laps.
I thought he was going to win the majority of the race.
He had 75 laps and ran up top all race.
But then Bell came and never gave it up, man.
Well, I think Larson's problem was he was pushing too hard, ended up spinning himself out. When he spun himself out, put him in the back, he was making up good ground from the back, and him and Preece got into it. So I think Preece was already mad at Larson from something earlier. So Larson went in high above Preece. I don't think Preece felt like Larson was giving him enough room. Preece pulled out from him, and when Larson got up to him again, Preece turned right. Said, game over.
Twice it looked like.
Yeah, he said, game over.
Yeah, they
got out of the car, and he goes, I don't know what happened, man. I got loose.
Well, even the post-race interview, he says just racing.
So
Larson did.
Will NASCAR penalize Ryan Preece for actions detrimental?
Well, I guess not, since he didn't admit to anything.
Well, he did say on the radio that was broadcast on the TV broadcast, game over. So,
but what does that mean?
Well, I mean, intent doesn't matter anymore. So NASCAR gets to make a judgment call. I think if they're going to stay consistent with their stupidity, then yes, he should be penalized. But really, I think NASCAR should get a grip and not penalize him.
Well, let's go back to drivers have at it.
And
let's just go there.
Let them talk about it. That was Denny's point on you're not going to build superstars if you muzzle them. If they're not allowed to go out and say, yeah, I wrecked him. Joey Logano spent his whole offseason on his championship tour talking about how he wrecked to get to where he won that race. I mean, he wrecked I think it was Truex. He wrecked him.
Well, I've even seen him win a race. So I hate to win that way. Isn't that admitting you wrecked somebody?
Yes, 100%. Carson Hocevar.
Mm-hmm. Hate to win that way.
Carson should have lost that win. I mean, that's by NASCAR standards. By my standards, go at it. I mean, I enjoy it.
Let's make Mike Helton, who's the co-chairman, let's let him be the dictator of NASCAR. I mean, there's been arguments before. They said he straightened out. People were afraid of him in the hauler.
You met Mike Helton, hadn't you?
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
I was afraid of him when I saw him.
I wouldn't mess with Mike Helton. I think he could take you.
Now, Humpy.
I know he could take me.
Humpy was a little guy.
So we had the choose drone instead of the choose cone. I refrained from responding to anybody on Twitter over the choose drone.
Who cares?
People were so mad. They're like, this is going to be a travesty. How do you take grassroots racing and add a drone to it? What did they want?
Well, why'd you take the best short oval
and
add dirt to it? I mean, come on. There's other things to be mad at.
It didn't. I think everybody suspected the battery to die on the drone and it to fall on the track and take out a car.
I think they charged it in between cautions.
We've been using a drone all season. Why not?
Post-race interview with the winner, you see drones spinning while Jamie Little's interviewing. I mean, it's a drone.
I think if you have any race that's going to end under the lights, you need to use the choose drone.
Yeah.
If you use the cone during the day, you use the painting on the track, but at night that thing looked cool. I like the camera on it. I like watching the cars drive under it.
Hey, they could put a rumble.
I thought it was cool.
They put a rumble strip light on there
What do you mean?
so you can see it at night, like they do at airports. Those lights the planes run over.
That would tear up a car.
Yeah.
Those things are so high it would
You
rip
might
the
need
whole
to avoid
undercarriage
it.
off.
Lift the car up a little bit instead of having it humping the ground.
Did you have the Dillon boys on your bingo card for dirt racing? Because I sure as heck didn't.
Well, they were good. Surprised me.
Austin Dillon finished third. Ty Dillon finished 21st, which is basically a win.
For him, it is. Yes.
I mean, if you run in the 20s, and you finish 20 spots above that, you won. He runs in the late 30s.
He obviously is a better. So we've been giving Corey LaJoy a lot of hype lately because we're impressed with him, but Corey's not a dirt track driver, is he?
Corey finished 30th, so
not a dirt guy.
You think that? You know, Corey had to feel bad when he went home and was like, "Man, Ty Dillon."
At least he didn't smack his wife.
There's. Well, Cody didn't race in the race Sunday, so we can't blame it on Bristol. You know whose fault it was?
Whose?
Ross Chastain's.
Everything is Ross Chastain's fault.
Well, I mean, Ross Chastain parked his butt on the corner so they'd bring out a caution in that race under caution.
Well,
so it's Ross's fault the race ended under caution.
I think.
How do you know he didn't hit Cody's wife?
I think if it wasn't for Ross Chastain flying over to Los Angeles when we were becoming Cannonball Run champions, we would have finished quicker.
I think it was Ross Chastain.
That jet blast slowed us down.
He was the one who was in our room when we had to sleep in the lobby. You think
that's where the wet footprints came from?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty close to the race.
Thinking back on it now, I remember a watermelon seed in the bedroom. There was watermelon tricks in the floor. The cereal.
Who is it that has the Wyndham Hotel sponsor?
Oh, that's your Legacy Motorcycle Club. Eric Jones.
Poor guy.
Yeah. He's definitely got the watermelon seeds in the floor.
I want to stay away from those.
So, yeah, what we're discussing. Ross Chastain hitting Cody Ware's wife.
And slowing us down.
So, it ended under caution because of that. I went back and watched the wreck. Fox actually showed a replay of it, but I went back on Twitter and watched it a few different angles. They were 100% correct on that call. Ross hit the wall, the inside wall, came off the ground. It was a hard hit. Ross's car was tore up. So they had no choice but to throw the caution. I don't think Tyler Reddick was going to pass him. Unless Tyler Reddick was going to chase Briscoe it and take them both out, then there was no chance he was going to win it.
No, I think that would have been the only way.
Yeah, I think the race was over. I think Christopher Bell was going to throw it into turns 3 and 4.
Now, the guys on Fox kept saying everyone else had a better car than Bell, but hindsight's 20/20, and I'm going to say this. Bell had the fastest car.
Well, obviously, he won the race.
Yes.
That's how you know he had the fastest car?
Yep.
Because he won the race?
That's why we have races.
All right. I'm going to do it again. I think the Fox booth stepped up their game.
Agreed.
They were excitable. They screamed. They got happy. They got mad. I mean, Tony looked pissed at the round Preece.
But you know, Tony was not as good in the last race he covered. He stepped it up.
Tony did great. Clint did great. Well, good. I don't want to say great. Mike did good. I mean, they did a good job of bring some excitement. You're not at a funeral. This is not a baseball game. This is not the Masters. This is a NASCAR race. You can be loud. You're not going to disturb the drivers.
Watch Australian supercars or F1 if you want to hear people. Actually, supercars very exciting, but F1's not that exciting. But when you watch the broadcast, you're like, "Whoa! Look at that! Oh my God!"
So
nothing happened.
My only complaint though is the booth would talk about all these wrecks and spins that were happening
that you didn't see,
and the TV and production team still sucked. Like, can these guys not get together and decide we're all going to do good today, guys? You know, the stupid camera. The stupid camera.
Do you think that's on the director, though?
No, it's the sponsorship. Fox has sold so much camera angle sponsor. They had a helmet cam on Ross Chastain. First off, you should not be allowed to have a helmet cam if you're going to have the little blurry bubbles on your dash. If you're worried about somebody seeing what your dash says, don't sell sponsorship. Don't sell an Advent Health helmet cam sponsorship. Because yesterday they kept going to Ross's in-car camera to show his dirty window that you could not see through. I don't care.
Or his dashboard you could
He's running in the back. You got a dirty window and a blurry dash. So all I can see is Ross's head bouncing up and down and nothing going on. But I guarantee you we spent 20 minutes plus watching that stupid camera angle instead of watching the race. And then they zoom in on one car like, watch this dirt car go. It's a race. You can't have a race with one stupid car. You need multiple cars to have a race.
The only time I want to see an in-car camera is during a wreck.
That's it.
You can replay that to me and I'll be okay. But I don't need to be inside the car.
Show it for 5 seconds at Daytona when they're in the draft, but quickly get off. You got a whole blimp called the Goodyear blimp flying above the racetrack. Turn the flipping camera on. Let us see what's going on the whole track. I think we've said it before, we need a streaming service that offers a full track view, then a view of the race. And then show me a view down the front straight and a view down the back straightaway, some corner angles. Let me pick which camera view I watch. You can have a dedicated one that you fiddle with.
You can do it on the app. You can pick which inside car camera you want to look at.
I don't want to watch an in-car camera, though.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do it on television. Do it on your app.
Exactly. They have these stupid bumper cams. Look, the racing at Bristol was all over the track. Show more full straightaway views. Show more where it shows, 5-10 cars racing.
Sometimes the most interesting thing going on is a number 30th place car passing 29th.
I'm sorry. I thought it sucked. I thought these camera guys, they need to go back to the late 90s, early 2000s and watch their coverage of a NASCAR race.
Well, they've been doing it for what have I read, 25 years now?
Fox has been doing it since Dale Earnhardt died. That was their first race, was when he died. I mean, that's probably the problem right there.
But
Fox never had Dale Earnhardt to hold them accountable for sucking.
That's true.
So,
but we didn't have the technology for cameras everywhere either.
True.
So we were running on the cameras stationed and the blimp.
But that was when we had good coverage. That's Days of Thunder. Tom Cruise said ESPN have surprisingly great coverage, right? We don't have that. No, we don't have ESPN, but we don't even have great coverage because we're putting cameras in gimmick locations, under the car, looking out the rear bumper, inside the tailpipe.
Dirt on Bristol to me is a gimmick, and it
is a gimmick.
It's wearing out though, man. It's old.
It is.
Let's do a new gimmick.
How's it old? They've only done it 3 times.
Because it's old.
All right, well, the next question on my show sheet is...
I saw that.
Do we see a 4th year at Bristol?
I want to see a 4th year, but not on dirt.
Do we see a 4th year on dirt?
I think we do. Because we're going to wear this sucker out. But I hope not.
Why don't you like it?
Go to a dirt track. Why are we turning one of the greatest tracks we race on into a dirt track? It was never dirt.
Scale of 1 to 10, what do you give the race?
6.
I'm at an 8. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought
I'd be at an 8 if there's no dirt on it.
I remember going to Bristol one time. There was like 19 cautions on concrete, and I loved it because it kept bunching the cars back up. When they bunch up, they bounce off each other. They beat and bang. They race.
Well, they bounced off each other all last night.
I think we saw more action last night than we have seen all year, and probably we saw more action last night than we saw the final 18 green white checker.
Pretty sure we saw more action than we're going to see this coming week.
I enjoyed the Bristol dirt race. I like concrete Bristol better. But overall, I thought it was a very entertaining event. I'm not going to call it a race. I'm going to call it an event because that's what it is. It's an event. So I enjoyed it.
So, Brad?
I don't think we should do it on Easter. And I think we should have 2 concrete Bristol races, get rid of Texas Motor Speedway's race, and do dirt
Let's
Bristol
do a
then.
mile and a half dirt. How about a mile and a half dirt at Texas?
Okay. Put dirt on Texas? Didn't we
Let's
discuss
just do
this
it.
before?
We did.
About putting dirt
on it.
And then gravel in the dirt.
Let's change.
Dude, you know how awesome that would be to have gravel? You would have to reapply the gravel. I think they should, and going back to Bristol, I think they should have wet the track last night during stage breaks. Or cautions.
They do that at real dirt tracks.
Well, I don't know that they do it during cautions, but they do it in between events, so I know that's not going to
fit. Yeah, but you only got 20 lappers in a Cochrane.
I still think your racetrack's going to change as the race goes on and more rubber gets put down into it, even if you wet it. But wetting it will slow that progress down. That's all I'm saying.
Now, I've thought about this for a little bit, how we could improve it.
Bristol dirt?
No, just dirt racing for NASCAR. I've read where some people don't like even having dirt at Bristol or dirt races because NASCAR has evolved past that. I think it's nice having something with your roots, though. I really think it's nice. I don't like Bristol being that place. But let's spread the love. Maybe we should have a Thursday night race, a B and A race. Let's whittle them down, make it a points race. And then the top 15, we'll take them to Eldora or Knoxville. Make them run a 50-lap shootout. Maybe 100 laps, so they got to pit at least once.
Here's my theory.
Eliminate some of them.
Somebody said they just need to get these guys to all run super dirt late models for one weekend. Can we take...
Sure, why not?
Can we take a chassis off a dirt late model and put a cup car body style? It doesn't have to be... I know a cup body is 3 pieces, but fabricate a body that looks like a cup car.
4 years ago,
on a dirt car chassis.
4 years ago, we did it at Eldora. The same sponsors were sponsoring the race, and they were running dirt cars. So we've done it.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, take a dirt car body, take a cup car
chassis,
the carbon fiber body of it, and put it on the metal chassis of a dirt car. It's got the same motor as a dirt car, same springs.
Why not?
It would even sit weird like a dirt car.
Why not NASCAR run it like an IROC race? They own the cars.
That's what I think.
They own the cars. Here's your cars.
Run the race on Easter, put them in real dirt track cars, and put them on Bristol. I don't care.
Give them the cars on Friday to practice.
Yes. But then
let them wrench on it.
It's dirt cars made. They can build their own dirt cars. These teams are smart. Give them the specs and let them go to work.
Well, that's worked so far.
Yeah.
With the next gen
car. They can't even give them the parts and get it to be consistent. So, no, I like it. I liked it, but that's just my opinion.
Well, Brad, got this new segment Brad came up with.
It's called
What Did Twitter Say, Brad? What did Twitter say?
So I went in there. I was trying to get Twitter's gauge on their opinion of the race. So Clint Boyer sent out a tweet yesterday. It said, well, what did y'all think? Did the dirt race at Bristol disappoint?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it did either. I thought it was a good race. It was very entertaining. It kept my interest from start to finish. I watched the whole thing. My son watched a lot of it. My wife watched some of it. I mean, I thought it was entertaining. Well, Chris Blackmore on Twitter said yes. So he's responding to Clint. So yes, it disappointed. We don't belong on dirt, and your producer must have been on a different planet. How many times were we told spin or car in the wall, but we never saw them? If it's big enough to shout about it, better be on our screen. Very disappointed.
I agree with him too.
I don't disagree with Chris. That's my biggest complaint yesterday was the coverage. Mark, what's this? Wirtz? How do you think?
Wirtz sounds good.
We're going Mark Wertz, Wertz.
Get it right or he'll unsubscribe.
Yeah, and if you don't subscribe, you might subscribe just to hear his name said on our podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
I love dirt racing, but I can't help but think how much better the surface and racing would be at Eldora or Virginia Motor Speedway, or another well-established dirt facility with good grandstands. My opinion, Bristol just isn't Bristol with dirt.
That's what I would have replied to, Mr. Wertz.
I don't disagree with him either.
No.
Here's the thing, though. Have you been to a dirt track facility that was clean?
No.
That you would take your daughter or wife to?
No.
Me neither. So putting dirt on Bristol is cheaper than them rebuilding a dirt facility. Eldora, I don't know. I've never been to Eldora. I don't know how clean their bathrooms are.
Cochrane Motor Speedway, about an hour south of me.
Yeah, it's like pissing in a 5-gallon bucket.
It is like...
with a hole in the bottom.
You got to roll in a urinal first, I think. And when I go, it's...
No, that's where your poop at's, that urinal thing.
Well, that's the thing. But when I go, it's just as much to see the fights after the race than it is fights in the stands. People are hardcore about their dirt drivers now.
So Dave Richardson says, no. The dirt on Bristol sucks. Better racing on concrete. Clint Boyer tries to make it sound good, but dirt on Bristol sucks. Find a real dirt track to race on. Maybe Eldora Speedway would work if NASCAR has to run on dirt. Hashtag no dirt on Bristol 24.
Well, Dave Richardson, one thing you failed to mention is Tony Stewart has come up with an all-star racing division that competes with NASCAR.
Sirix.
Yep. So I don't think Eldora is an option.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I think if Eldora was an option, NASCAR would be at Eldora, but because of Tony's Sirix series, or SRS.
And I don't like the dirt on Bristol, but I'm sorry. What race were you watching last night? The race was good. I just don't agree with dirt on Bristol. It was a good race. The reason I gave it a 6 is because I don't like the dirt on Bristol. If I would have thought it sucked, I'd give it a 3.
Derek Houston. Track was a damn good one. Called out mostly smooth and guys could run anywhere. Or came out mostly smooth and guys could run anywhere. A lot of now fans want to be upset about one-lane racing. And the dirt race, you got 3 wide multiple times.
I saw 4 wide.
Hard to not enjoy that kind of racing. Well, Derek, I agree, my friend.
I agree with you too, Derek.
It's hard not to enjoy it.
Don't like dirt on Bristol.
Matthew Connell. Best race of the season, Clint. Oh, I'm sorry, I added that. Best race of the season. Love seeing these drivers fighting hard and not glued to the ground. It was a breath of fresh air to see the most talented drivers in the sport overstepping the limit and spinning out. You actually had to pay for your mistakes as a driver. 10 out of 10. Matthew, I don't agree with the 10 out of 10, but I agree it was a dang good show. Very good show.
I'm agreeing with it being a good show.
Best race of the season. I agree. It is the best race so far this season.
I really enjoyed the LA Coliseum, though. But
so a lot of people were saying that went to this race how good of an event it was in person. I wonder if it's similar to the LA Coliseum.
I thought the Clash was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. Like, I loved it. The heat races were great. The race was great.
People got pissed, start bouncing into each other.
Yeah, it was just a fun all-day event. Yeah. All the way around. It was a great event. So I imagine Bristol Dirt, if it wasn't on Easter, I'd go. Honestly,
I would like to see it, even though I don't agree with it. I'd be honest.
I would, even with it being on Easter, I would consider going if I didn't have kids. Just to be honest with you. So I also went to Bob Pockris, our favorite, Bob. Bob posted a tweet. It said, "Fast thoughts. After what fans witnessed Sunday night, would the 4th time on Bristol Dirt be a charm?" Family Man says, "No, enough is enough. Take this clay off, then take the concrete up and put asphalt back down."
Okay, agreed.
I mean, the very first time they repaved it with concrete, it changed Bristol. and they've been trying to get it back to the old Bristol ever since then.
Maybe they shouldn't have thrown asphalt down the straightaways.
They should have never screwed it up. They should have left it like it was.
I think they went cheap, but now they're spending a lot of money to make it dirt.
Why not? _ Dalton _ I like Bristol on dirt. If we cannot have it here, please keep the dirt racing somewhere at least. I love that it's on the schedule. Is it a gimmick? Sure, but it's a fun one.
100% agree with you, _ Dalton _
NASCAR in guitars responded to _ Dalton _ with, the problem is that these cars can't run properly on those tracks because there is not enough banking. You just can't have cars tiptoeing around the turns. I feel these dirt races are so awful compared to a real dirt race, it's just hard for me to watch. Borderline insulting.
That
Dalton _ Dalton responded back to NASCAR in guitars with, seemed to work well last night.
Yep, guitar boy.
I thought it was funny.
Wow.
He shut him
What
up.
a moron.
The Racing Report replied to Bob with, Bob, this was the best one so far. NASCAR needs to let them run a true late model dirt car for this one race. Run what you brung, and you will see a sold out race.
Now that would be interesting. That's a take I haven't even considered.
I agree.
Yes.
I think that's what I was saying. I put a little note next to this. Could they put a cup body on a dirt model chassis? But just bring a dirt late model, period. Just get a dirt late model, paint it like your regular race car, and that's what I think everybody can have one.
Let's make it an open race, like he suggested, and let the teams build their car. Excuse me.
Oh gosh,
you're wearing off, Brad. Oh, burp there. Let them run wild with their cars.
Let them go at it.
Yeah. Call it a race car open.
Teams with the most money are going to have the best car.
Yep.
Well, they might not.
Well, now with dirt, though, it might even out the field.
But it might.
A better dirt driver and a worse car might do better than a great car with a crappy dirt driver.
I almost like your original idea of doing it like the IROC series, where you provide the teams with a car, give them 2 weeks to work on it, then it's run what you brung then.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same model car, same motor, same everything down to not the seat. Put your own seat in it. If you want to make some adjustments or changes, you make them.
Just make them pass a template. That's it.
Yeah.
Template only.
You get to the track.
Pass a template.
You have an inspection with a template. You get through it.
Yeah, you're
good to go. I mean, you can't change the motor out. You can't do anything like make.
Well, have a sealed motor. Make them buy another motor from NASCAR if they blow it. Give them a chance.
Why not?
Let them change the motor. Put them in the back of the pack.
Todd Carter replied to Bob with, no, please stop trying to make the cocktail people don't want to drink. For the 8 dirt guys, it appeared to look interesting. But for the rest of the field, they were simply riding around trying to salvage a finish. I'm sure all those sponsors would agree with me. I don't think they would.
No, I don't think so either.
There were sponsors lining up.
That's what I expect from Jimmy Carter's son, though.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, just whatever, dude. Why don't you watch F1, Mr. Carter?
Well, Richard H. Shores.
That sounds fake.
Richard H. Shores?
Yeah.
It was like Richard H. Howard from our last one, right?
Yeah.
Richard H. Shores. It was a fun race to watch, but I feel that the racing would be more entertaining on a true dirt track like Eldora.
Not going to happen, guys.
The attendance was not great, but it hasn't been great for the spring race in many years. Plus, it was Easter Sunday, so I don't feel racing on dirt is to blame for that. I agree 1,000. Yeah. I do not think the attendance had anything to do with the dirt.
Nope.
I think it had everything to do with Easter. It's hard to leave your family on a holiday.
Especially Easter.
Yes. That's a huge deal.
I mean, you got like 4 majors, but 3 are, well, 2 are secular. Let's say 4 majors. You got Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and the 4th of July. Those are must with your family. Because you got to blow crap up for the 4th of July with your family.
So I was thinking Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween.
I like Halloween.
I would take Halloween over the 4th of July.
But your pastor might not like you saying that. Mine wouldn't.
I have a Harry Potter tattoo. And I hang out with my pastor once a week. So I think he would be okay.
At my church, we have the
Halloween.
trunk or treat.
We do a fall festival.
Yeah, fall festival.
On Halloween.
But you dress up for it, which is weird.
And then you pass out
Wear your costumes. You open your trunk and give out treats.
Like 4th of July. I'm not bashing the 4th of July, but we really don't. We don't have a tradition really on the 4th of July. We used to have a family reunion we went to every year for the 4th of July.
Then global warming happened. It got too hot for you guys.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, some of our family still gets together at the beach every year on the 4th of July, but others of us don't. So, but yeah, I mean, Richard A. Shores, he's wrong, man.
You're wrong, dude. Plus,
I just don't think they need to go to a true dirt track. Like,
I would like a true dirt track.
Eldora, yes, but anywhere else,
Eldora ain't gonna happen.
I don't think their facilities are going to be nice enough for NASCAR standards.
What was that one in Missouri they went to with SRX? That was nice.
They're pushing it. NASCAR going to the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro is pushing it on facilities because we were just there.
Yeah, where's the landing strip for all their planes? They're going to have to drive up. It's only an hour and a half
They
drive.
were cooking hot dogs in
next
the runoff water from the Porter Johns.
That was rough.
That about killed this guy.
Ugh. Yeah, I didn't have any hot dogs. My favorite food. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza. And I couldn't eat any of it because the blue water seeping out under the hot dog stand. Ugh.
So Jeff Gluck poll, when I put these notes together at least, after 16,000 votes, 67% said yes, it was a good race. 33% said no, it was not. Last year it was at 61% said yes. And the first year it was 73% said yes. So looks like this year is going to be a little better than last year.
Well, it's right where I gave it. I gave it a 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's
almost a 7. It's right in between what you and I gave it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, if we were going to Martinsville, which we're not, where would we not want to stay at?
Well, I found some interesting places. Way better than normal. Not as good as that guy that ended up making political statements and all kinds of weird things.
Yeah, I don't think he ever even stayed at that hotel.
He probably didn't. But this is Continental Flyer on TripAdvisor. Budget in Durham.
No ghost sex this week?
There was no ghost sex. I did find a hotel with ghosts, but the reviews weren't entertaining at all. I read through 138. None of them. I was like, I'm not putting any of these up there.
Honestly, I think her review last week could have been better. I think it would have been better to have been in a room, woke up and witnessed 2 ghosts having sex in your room than what she had described. That would be more entertaining from the perspective of hotel reviews.
Well, it was flat out weird. I mean,
you don't want to stay at the Motel 6. I woke up and there was 2 ghosts going at it on the counter.
I found it very weird.
I did too. I don't believe it either.
I looked it up. There's a name for it. I don't remember the name, but there is a name for having sex with spirits.
Necrophilia?
Close. Might as well be, right?
Something like that.
We have none of that this week.
No.
There's some weird stuff.
All right, what do we got?
Well, the Budget Inn in Durham. Continental Flyer is the username. 1 out of 5. Stayed here for 1 night. Cheap rate for the night, which was $50, I believe. A lady who was staying there kindly helped me to my room and told me that night in no certain terms.
Maybe good night?
I guess not to come out. Not to answer the phone if it rings, and if anyone knocks on the door, do not open it.
Oh.
As soon as I got in, an hour in, phone rings and thinking it may be the front desk. Come on, listen to old lady. Have you never watched a horror flick?
She just told you not to answer it for a reason. She knew it was going to ring, Jimmy.
I answered, and it was a prostitute asking if I was looking for a good time. After declining and hanging up, a female knocked on my door around 3 a.m., but I did not answer. She said for $10 she'd put her fingers up my butt. That's cheap. I mean, not that I want it to happen, but that seems.
Are we speaking from experience here, Jamie?
No, I've never paid anyone to put a finger up my butt. But
excuse me, ma'am. Before you get ice,
if you're into this kind of thing,
I got a 20.
That seems. I think they left money on the table for someone that wants that to happen.
You got $10? They put a finger in your butthole.
30 minutes after the finger proposition, I had a knock on the door again. I looked out the peephole, and a police officer with a shotgun gave me the shush sign by putting his fingers to his lips. I didn't know what to do. Was he coming into my room? Then I heard him scream police, and a neighboring door was kicked in. Oh my God. Shots were fired. Wow, that's nuts. I exited the room to watch them drag off the criminals. As I was leaning on the railing, someone jabbed my butt with their fingers. I turned around and that damn whore was standing there, and she then demanded her $10.
I touched your butt. So she was just offering to touch your butt for $10.
Well, I mean, she didn't say, I don't know if Continental Fire is male or female, but she didn't say how deep the fingers went.
That's true.
High drug activity and prostitution goes on at this hotel. That night, I did not sleep at all. I'm very surprised this hotel has not already been condemned and torn down. You know what? I think that's a very good review.
I hope the hotel we stay in this week doesn't have any of this.
Well, it is a resort, and it's for the largest air conditioning company's meeting, New Year meeting.
Well, when they say resort, it's usually a bad omen for us.
That's true, but I don't think where we're going is owned by Wyndham's. We
might be all right.
So James J. wrote about the Dutch Inn in Martinsville.
He wrote a book.
They hate NASCAR fans. That's what he said.
In Martinsville.
In Martinsville.
I doubt that.
You would think they like them. My wife, a friend, and I stayed at this hotel near the Martinsville NASCAR race. We had it booked for 2 nights. We checked in after the race. Once we checked in, we got to the room, and the first thing we noticed was a bad smell, like a musty smell. Then we noticed the dirty refrigerator that my wife refused to use. Okay, MBD. What does that mean? No big deal. I got it. Small things.
You figured that out because
we can deal with it. So we say, let's just keep having fun. Sit outside with other NASCAR fans and have a good time. At about 9:30 p.m., Kat, the manager or owner, drove up in her minivan telling us to quiet down. So we head inside, now really seeing and inspecting the room. First off, there is no garbage can in the room.
That's
not one in the bathroom for women or one out in the room, so we had to leave everything sitting on one of the tables. Every single surface of the room was just gross, like they used a dirty towel to clean it with. The bathroom floor looked like it had not been mopped in a year. The sink in the bathroom was stained with brown stains. The carpet had a hole in it, and it was so dirty it turned the bottom of my friend's feet black in 5 minutes. Yeah, we've heard that quite a bit. Actually, that happened to me at Motel 6 in Los Angeles. None of the wall lights work, and even after all these issues, we were going to tough it out. That was until we went to take a shower, and out comes a cockroach. From the shower or from the faucet?
Oh,
EW. Nice. What do you think EW means?
Ew.
Oh, ew. It's not an abbreviation?
Yeah.
Or a meme? So we decided to check out immediately. I go to the office to check out, and Kat asked why. I told her about the cockroach, and this is what she said. I have this place treated for bugs. Every hotel you go to has some cockroaches. I said, ma'am, I've never been to another hotel where we had cockroaches. The whole time she's giving me a refund, only for the unused day. She is arguing with me and mumbling stuff about you come here and get drunk and act like idiots. Then you want to complain and say this happens every time race fans stay here. Sure it does.
I'm sure.
I had some few choice words for her at this point, and I'd say them again to her after the way she treated me for complaining about a cockroach. And not to mention the total disrespect just because we're NASCAR fans. Well, you know,
I think her disrespect towards NASCAR fans is, I've camped in the campground. You get NASCAR fans together drunk, they get a little rowdy. It gets pretty loud.
It does.
And if this hotel is close to the racetrack, they should expect that.
Should. But they also charge you 5 to 10 times the normal rate. So they also should be able to clean it up after you tear it up, right?
Well, I don't think you should tear it up, but I do think if they're going to charge, and well, they do charge an absorbent fee. When we saw it at North Wilkesboro, it was like $79 a night at the whatever Holiday Inn, maybe $100 a night at the Holiday Inn. The week Dale Jr. raced, it jumped up to $200 a night.
Yeah.
And then the very next day after his race was done, went back to $100 a night. But our room was clean.
It was clean.
So no complaints. This obviously wasn't clean, so he had complaints. But getting mad at her, getting mad at him for being loud and obnoxious in the parking lot. Everybody there might not be a race fan. You might have some dads with their kids there trying to get the little ones to get some sleeps for their big dad.
You might be a construction worker. Gets up at 4.
You could be sitting in your Mustang drinking beer the whole time while somebody else is going to the race.
You get a DUI for just sitting there drinking.
Well, we watched that dude in North Wilkesboro. He must have drank 16 cases of beer.
That's all he did. He didn't go to the race.
He didn't go to work either.
No.
Those other construction workers talked to him a lot.
Must have been a union supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Shop steward.
I can supervise from here.
So the last but not least, HTO hydrated 1978. Whatever, dude.
I'm thinking he was born in 1978.
And he drinks a lot of water.
Boy, he's a water boy.
Yeah. He works for the department, the water works.
High quality H2O.
He titled this, "I'm so tired of paying too much."
Well, if you don't pay much, you're not gonna get much. You get what you pay for.
But this is, I failed to mention this. He gave it 1 out of 5, but Super 8 by Wyndham.
Oh, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Unless it's the Laquita.
I'm sorry, dude. Laquita's a good representation.
We were good there.
Yep. I paid $600 for 2 nights stay here. I understand it's race weekend, but for $300 a night, I would certainly think they would allow you to sleep. No.
You would think.
No, I don't think so. So this guy went for the race too, and he criticized the race people with that first sentence. Yeah. There was this asshole, Joey Logano fan next door.
And that's the only kind of Joey Logano fan there is, folks.
Yeah, they like to replicate him. They are the worst.
Just like Daddy Joey.
He stayed up, now I understand why. He stayed up all night drinking beer and screaming.
I didn't know Joey Logano fans drank beer.
Yeah, I thought there were more cocktail people, black tie events.
White Claw.
Hair club for men.
Yeah. Cigar bars.
If you're going to keep me up, share some beers. But no Logano fan, they don't share. I hear him in the morning scream for some K-Cups for his coffee. And he banged his way out of his room. Then his wife came out screaming at him and eventually followed him. She took the latch and closed it with the door open so she could get back without a key. I ran over and loaded the coffee machine with my piss. That's right. I peed in the coffee maker when they came back.
Did he pee in a cup and then dump it in there, or did he?
I don't know.
Did he straddle the counter?
He doesn't go into real detail.
He probably pissed all over the counter, the dresser, their clothes.
Well, I take back his criticism. Yeah, you should have let this nut sleep.
Yeah.
You should have let him sleep.
Who's crazier, the drunk Joey Logano fan?
Yeah, this guy is nuts.
Who's he pulling for?
When they
coffee pisser, who's he pulling for? Who do you think? Austin Cindric?
Yeah.
Somebody like that. Cody Ware?
Yeah.
I'm Cody Ware fan.
Well, that's why his wife was screaming.
I pissed in that Joey Logano fan.
Smacked her.
He smacked Joey's fan.
I heard him scream at his wife about how the coffee tasted like piss. I'm sure it did taste like piss. I laughed so hard a little slipped out and I had to change my underwear.
He pooped his pants too?
I hope it was pee that slipped out.
Okay.
You know, he had to pinch it midstream, which is the worst thing a man can do.
So he pisses in this guy's K-Cup machine.
He still has some piss left for rolling on the floor laughing to
I think he sharted himself.
I think you're probably right.
He sharted.
It's the worst thing a man can do is stop in the middle. Just the worst.
I don't know. Peeing in a K-Cup's pretty dang bad. Like, that's rock bottom.
Maybe there's a reason this.
I don't like Joey Logano either, man.
I'm not competing in your coffee.
Get over it. I hate Joey Logano, the race car driver, with a passion. I actually enjoy disliking Joey Logano as a driver. But I wouldn't piss in Joey Logano's coffee maker.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't even know if I'd piss in Joey's yard. That might be as far as I'd go. I'd piss on his
I don't even know if I'd do that.
If I was at his house and had to go to the bathroom and all 13 of his bathrooms were full, I might pee in his bushes. But I'm not peeing in anybody's coffee maker.
I don't like peeing in a cup for work.
Yeah, I'm not going to go volunteer pee in a dang K-cup. Like I said, could you imagine? You've been to a hotel. You've seen these little bitty coffee makers.
Yeah, you pour the water in a tiny paper cup. You fill it up, and it almost overflows with your 6-ounce coffee cup.
So H2O hydrated here. He goes into the room and he gets all hydrated up and pissed all over the counter.
We know why he's always pissing, because he's very well hydrated.
I mean, he climbs up on people's counter. I see him. I see him on his knees.
I hope he unplugged it.
I see him on his knees, hand on the wall, peeing in the K-cup, like holding himself up on their dresser just to pee it away. That looks like a full cup of coffee.
Oh, gross.
He still gets out of there in time before they catch him.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Then he goes to his room. He's laughing so hard that Joey thinks it tastes like piss. So H2O Hydrate gets to laughing so hard he shards himself. Oh, man.
Unfortunately, I've actually done what this guy's wife did. I closed the latch so I don't need a key to get back in.
Well, you better not, because I'm pissing in your K-cup machine.
I'm locking the door next time. I'm never doing that again. Jeez.
You leave your room tomorrow night, I'm pissing in your K-cup machine.
I ain't doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh, man.
And it looks like we're in the middle of nowhere, so we're going to have to either go with the K-cup or find their restaurant there to get coffee.
I'll bring my own. It's probably not a bad idea, actually.
Well, H2O Hydrated claimed, he says, maybe there's a reason this place is horrible. Joey fans have turned this place into a homeless camp. My bathroom was disgusting. Poop was left on the toilet seat. Maybe Joey Logano fan pooped on his toilet seat.
Might have been Brad Keselowski trying to get it with the helmet on.
Not mine, but probably a Joey fan's turd. Blood on the sheets. We ran over to Walmart and bought a $20 sleeping bag. Kyle Busch fan on the other side, but at least he shared his weed. God dang it.
What's that 3G?
Yeah, it wasn't real weed, dude. It was 3G.
Yeah.
Chevy bitches. What the heck? This guy's bouncing all over the place. That's because he had the weed.
Yeah. He smoked weed, then he wrote this review.
Chevy bitches.
Poop was left on toilet seat.
Just so y'all know, Dale was 3. Well, I knew that.
Yeah.
Junior was 8.
Yeah.
I knew that. With is 2 3s kissing, one's backwards.
What?
Yeah, that's true. He's saying if you reverse a 3 and make them kiss, it's an 8. He's
It's
right.
a butterfly then.
That's an 8.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, a 3 this way.
You would have to
No, a 3 this way. Look, I'm going to draw it with my finger without a pen.
I'm drawing it with my hands, like that.
3 this way, and then 3 this way. Yeah, that makes an 8.
Or a butterfly.
Okay, butterfly guy.
Butterfly.
If that makes you happy.
3. Butterfly.
But it's also looks like an 8.
Butterfly.
I'm agreeing.
A butterfly.
I'm agreeing with Pissant here.
All right, you go with hydrated pissant.
Well, he goes further. Dale had 4 kids. That's 4 3s. 1 backwards, 1 forward, 1 backwards, and 1 forward. Got it? Good. I guess that's the 80. Oh, I skipped a line. Dale then drove the 88 at Hendricks. Or to Brad, it's a double butterfly.
2 butterflies.
Yeah.
Well, 88 looks like a butterfly right there.
That sounds like a theory. I'm not sure that's how it played out.
I think Dale Earnhardt was probably like, you know what? I got 3 kids here. But if I have one more, then that'll be 4. And that'll be like 4 3s kissing. 4 3s kiss is what?
I don't know. Having that triple number.
8 kids?
All I could think of when I got out of there was I wanted to spray disinfectant all over me. Bad. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot about all the beer cans under the bed with some previous guests. Joey fans.
This guy goes from talking about hating Joey Logano to pissing in a coffee maker.
I'm telling you,
to pooping on the toilet to 4 kids kissing.
I think it's from the 3 Chi. He OD'd on 3 Chi, and then he started bouncing around with how the numbers became their numbers.
4 kids kissing. You don't put that in a review.
Didn't he say 4 threes kissing?
But still.
He didn't say anything about kids.
Oh, man. Them dang Joey fans. I don't like Joey either, but good Lord, I ain't pissing in his coffee
I don't
cup.
hate his fans. Everybody's an individual.
Yeah, I mean, what driver has the worst fans, in your opinion?
Well, I'm actually a fan of the guy, Chase Elliott. Yes. I think his fans are the most obnoxious people in the world.
They are.
I'm one of them.
I don't think you're a typical Chase fan, though.
Yeah, I'm not going ooh, and point at people. Well, I was born in Georgia, and so was he. I'm just gonna homer it.
It is so weird to hear the fans cheer for Kyle Busch because me and John were talking. My son, me and him were talking about after the last race at Talladega. I mean, at Atlanta, we all went to, and fans cheer for Kyle Busch now. When I was telling him at Talladega, like me and John would walk around Talladega at the end of the race, and they were cheering for Kyle Busch, but it was F you, Kyle Busch. Well, and they would just chant it as you walked out. Well, now they're cheering for him. It's just
they thought he was a big ass, but then he got
3G.
Well, JGR is a bigger ass.
Yes,
and it was spun in a way where Joe Gibbs looked like crap.
Richard's pretty good at that,
and Busch looked great. They
definitely achieved their goal.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Busch now has fans that are willing to cheer for him.
And the more he wins now, the more that fan base is going to grow. You're going to start having your Kevins retire and your Hamlins retire and your Truexes retire.
Oh, I think he'll still be racing even after Hamlin retires.
That's what I'm saying. So Kyle will only pick up more fans as those guys move out.
Yeah.
So this weekend they are racing at Martinsville. The race is at 3 p.m. on FS1 and MRN. It is a half-mile paperclip-shaped oval. Out of the last 6 races, the average finish...
It's not a true paperclip.
Well, you couldn't have a true paperclip.
I was looking at paperclip this morning, drinking my coffee.
It's shaped like the outside of a paperclip. How about that? That make you feel better?
I was sitting there drinking my coffee. Got a 7:30 work call.
You go,
AM. And afterwards, you see me when we go to race. It takes me a few hours to wake up.
Yeah.
And I found myself staring at a paperclip. And I don't agree with that anymore, that it's a paperclip.
All right, well, I do. So we're going to hear with it.
Okay.
You probably think 2 + 2 is racist.
Might be. I don't know.
I saw a TikTok video on it.
Really?
I saw a video on Instagram where a girl was like, saying 2 + 2 is 4 is racist.
Why is that?
I don't know. I turned it off because I was laughing hysterically at her stupidity.
Really dumb.
Yeah, I'm over stupid worlds. Like, we live in a stupid world. I'm over the clown game.
Well, they should listen to John Lennon and Paul McCartney. All we need is love.
We can get rid of the lizard people with love and a lot of the fighting we have going on with love. So.
Oh, yeah. If we thought of the other, if we treated them the way we treat ourselves, we wouldn't have this issue.
Yep. You're 100% correct, sir. But it's a selfishness thing that causes all these problems.
Right. But sometimes you're just an asshole. You're not racist.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And I think there's more assholes than racists.
I think there's a racist group of people out there, and we see them,
But don't you think?
But
by the numbers in America, we have more assholes than we do racists.
Yes, I think what we truly have is an outrageous action, and then the reply is an outrageous response, and we just name it racism because we don't know what else to call it other than assholes. And we can't say assholes on TV, and racist is just too easy.
I think we should just call them what they are.
Why don't we just love everyone?
That would be even better.
I mean, it's a Christian thing to do. Even if you're not a Christian and you're an atheist, be a humanist and love everyone.
It's a lot easier to get along than it is to fight people. I don't know why people haven't figured that out yet, but you would think in however many thousands of years humanity's been around that we could figure out how to get along, but we can't.
You can either fight, change, or embrace it.
It's been going on since biblical days.
Yeah, it has.
Adam and Eve screwed it up for all of us.
Well, then Abraham screwed it up again.
Yeah, it just kept going down.
Yeah.
It's downhill from Adam.
Yep.
All right, so Martinsville, the maybe paperclip shaped 0.5 mile oval. The average finish out of the last 6 races, Joey Logano has the best average finish at 5.2. Ryan, who I will not pick in fantasy NASCAR, Blaney, has an average finish of 5.5. William Byron has 1 win out of the last 6 races, an average finish of 10.
I remember that win.
Kyle Larson, also average finish 10. Martin Truex has 2 wins here out of the last 6 races. His average finish is 11.7, which means he either wins or sucks. Alex Bowman, 11.8 with 1 win.
I remember his win.
Kyle Busch.
He's never won there?
0, well, out of the last 6 races.
Okay.
I only pulled this for the last 6. Try to stay relevant. Out of the last 6, Kyle's got 12.7 average finish. Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson had an average finish of 10, but that was out of the last 4 because of
suspensions.
Yep. Ross Chastain's is also out of the last 4. He has an average finish of 13.3. Kevin Harvick, 13.8. Christopher Bell, 14.7. And Denny Hamlin, 15.8. That's your top 10 average finishes. Now, I will say I took Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott out because they no longer race. So they're no longer, well.
You can take Cody out too.
I get
Matt Crafton is.
I don't think Cody Ware had a.
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he was going to end up in the top 10 of an average finish out of the last 6 races of anywhere.
Matt Crafton's pretty good.
So let's jump into our fantasy. Last week, I picked Kyle Larson, Reddick, and Byron. That's Larson brought me 35 points,
Pretty
Reddick 2, and Byron 13 for a total of 50 points. Remember the way we do it, your spot earns you a point. First place is 1 point. Lower points wins. Jamie had Logano, Hamlin, and Jones. Logano got you 37 points, Hamlin got you 22 points, and Jones got you 4 points for 73. I won last week with 50. You lost with 73. Overall, I have a total of 392 points, and you have a total of 406 points.
Jamie? I don't think I'm picking Logano again this season. Every time I pick him, he sucks.
So you're going to go Logano?
I'm not.
You're going to boycott Logano like I'm boycotting
I don't care.
Blaney?
I dislike the guy, but every time I pick him, he gets revenge by sucking.
So the way this works, we get to pick a driver out of the top 10, 11th through 20th, and then a driver 21st through 37th for a total of 3 drivers. Jamie, you lost. You get to pick first.
Well, that top 10 last week, or this week, they don't win that often.
No, the top 20 sucks this week.
Yeah, let's see. I'm going Tyler Reddick.
Bastard. All right.
Well, you took him. You won last week. The mid 10, I'm going to go with. Boy, they suck too. Or the good drivers sucked yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go on a limb, and it's going to cost me points. Brad Keselowski.
Okay.
I don't like Fords either.
All right.
And
21st through 37th.
All the good drivers at the bottom here.
Hey, Todd Dillon's there if you want to pick him.
I don't think I'll pick him. I'm going with Denny.
Denny. All right.
Who you going with, Brad?
Oh, I'm definitely not going with Joey Logano.
What about Blaney?
I told you I'll pick Cody Ware. Well, I can't pick Cody Ware now. So out of the top 10, I'm going to go with. Oh man, I want to go with Harv, but I'm gonna go with Martin Truex.
That was my first instinct. Truex, time for a win. But
I had out of the top 10, I had Truex and Reddick. I wanted Reddick. I thought you would go with Truex, to be honest, but because he's older.
I want to win, Brad. I don't care. I don't care how old that pony is.
11th through 20th, you went with Keselowski, so I'm going to go with Byron.
It's a good pick. He's won there before.
Michael McDowell was my backup, so
I was thinking McDowell too.
Yeah, I know. We discussed it. So I'm going to go with Byron out of that one. And out of the last 21st through 37th, I think I'm going to go with Ross Chastain.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Josh Berry might only have one more race in him, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the veterans will let him win Martinsville?
No.
I don't think so either.
I think Josh, Martinsville's probably his best chance of winning a race, but I don't think that they're going to let him win. You know
I think he's being hazed.
I think they're going to push him out of the way.
I think he's being hazed right now.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
They're definitely giving him a hard time.
He's got a talent, though. They know
he
it.
has a true talent.
And they know it. But they're hazing him.
No doubt. So, where'd Chastain? He didn't even know 13.3 was his average finish, so okay. I didn't screw up totally picking him. I was torn between Chastain and Larson, but man, I feel like every time I pick Larson in fantasy, he screws me.
They took one of Chastain's moves from him.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to do that again anyway, I don't think. Do you think he would have?
If they didn't change the rule?
I hope they leave the stripe on for the race.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think it's painted over now.
I don't think he would do it in the spring race at all. He might do it in the fall if it wasn't outlawed, if it was going to keep him in the chase.
Yeah, if it would have to be the same situation. Look at that mosquito.
Lizard person.
I mean, you got a lot of the signs of a lizard person, so.
I think Eric Almirola is a lizard person.
He
doesn't have red hair, though.
He's not much of a race car driver.
Do you think this is red or more orange?
Orange.
See, I don't have red hair. It's orange.
Trump orange going on.
They called it dirty blonde when I was a kid.
What do you think Ty Dillon will finish at Martinsville?
25 back.
Okay.
I think his brother will do better. I say his brother will do top 10.
Who do you think finishes better, Ty or Austin?
Austin. Austin will finish. I think Austin's a better driver.
Who do you think finishes better? Ty Dillon or BJ McLeod?
Ooh, that's tight.
That's a Vegas bet. That's Dirty Modo for you right there.
I would go with BJ. Hate to say it.
That's a tough one too, but I guarantee you BJ can whoop him off the track.
Oh yeah, he'd tear his ass up.
I wonder if Matt Crafton's going to be the new fill-in for Cody Ware.
I don't think he's a fill-in. We just don't know it yet.
He's going to be permanent.
I haven't seen Cody's brother come back to racing yet. He got it suspended indefinitely.
That's fact.
So, right. I don't know. Just going by the past.
Well, that's about all I got this week. Jamie, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thanks to everyone who listens, watches the show, shares us on social media, shares it with your friends. Thanks to everyone who follows us on Twitter. We're at Car Backwards. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and check out our videos. Make sure to check us out on Spotify and rate us. Check out our other show called The Conspiracy Juice Ball on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and like that one. Well, I guess you don't have to subscribe, but
go ahead and subscribe. We like it.
Subscribe to the channel, but you can't subscribe to the playlist. Make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review like Brandon did. Send us a DM or email us at racecarbackwardspod@gmail.com. We'll read any of your complaints on the show, and we'll probably make fun of you, but send them on anyway.
And you'll unsubscribe.
I haven't said Soros on the show, so I'm going to go and plug Soros in right now for Daniel Soros.
Well, you haven't been farting, you've been burping. Shouldn't you say sore throat instead of sore ass?
I guess. And make sure to check out our new merch store at racecarbackwards.com. Get you one of them race car spelled backwards mafia stickers on there. But other than that, y'all have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Sound effects. Lizard people tongue.